Hello, everybody. Welcome to the season finale of Indie Horror Talk. Today we have the voice actor for Joey Drew himself from Bendy in the Dark Revival, Dave Rivas. Mr. Rivas, how are you?
That is not interference. That is not white noise. That is the crowd going crazy. Hi, hi, hey, keep it down, everybody. Oh, hey, gosh,
Oh
wow,
wow, we
you're
can't pick it up
embarrassing me.
on
Thank
our
you.
end.
Thank you so much. Oh, you're too kind. Wow, what a
Yeah,
long intro.
yeah. We also have Rahul Safar with us. Safar, how are you?
I'm doing well today, Jackson. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, yeah. You're welcome,
Hey, love
man.
you, man.
We love you too, Dave.
Yeah.
It's good to have you on.
Awesome. Hey, love you
All
guys. I love you so much.
Uh, thank you.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, man. Alrighty, let's get this show on the road. Let's see. So you're a voice actor, correct?
Yes.
All right. Next,
Yes.
I'm kidding. Next question. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I
So,
checked yes on the form before we got here.
y- yeah. So, what exactly got you into voice acting? Was there any source of inspiration that made you want to pursue that career?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's actually been a process going on pretty much for my whole life. There were some key moments where I really took some action and really got into it, but ever since I was a kid, if I was talking to friends, telling a story about, the teacher said this, or, "Hey, did you see that part in the movie when they say this?" Ever since I was a kid, when I was doing that, people would say, "Oh my gosh, you sound just like them." And so I found out at an early age, like 7 or 8, that, like, I had the gift to be able to mimic people and stuff like that. And then I grew up watching, like, Looney Tune cartoons and just loved, all that stuff, and was just fascinated with Mel Blanc and all those, people that did the voices. And then, I started acting in high school. I knew I wanted to be an actor, but it was just too unstable of a career for me. I was like 17 years old doing plays with, 40-year-olds that were waiting tables, and I didn't want to do that. So I went into emergency medicine. I don't know if you knew this about me. For the last 35 years or so, I was a paramedic, and I was a 911 operator, and for many, many years with San Diego Fire Department. And anyway, when I'd be getting ready for work, I'd have the radio on, and the radio, I would be fascinated by the commercials, especially, like, funny commercials, or, commercials that would be, like, celebrity voice impersonated at the end, and I always thought, "Wow, I would love to do that," or I always thought, "I could do a better impression than that guy in that commercial." So I just started pursuing it, and I started taking classes. This was back in like 1998, 97, 98 or so. I started taking some classes, and then I started taking more classes and more classes, and I found that it was just a lot of fun and a great group of crazy people just like me. And so I stuck around and networked and started doing commercials and video games, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Wow.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a
you
long-winded answer. I had to come
oh,
up for
yeah,
air.
yeah,
That's
I
the
was like
only reason I stopped.
yeah,
Or
I don't think
I
I
keep
don't think I
talking.
heard you, like, take a breath during all that.
It's all breath
Yeah.
control. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's yeah, yeah, and you started voice acting back in 1998, right?
Yeah, officially. Like I say, I started, I've always goofed around with voices my whole life. So I kind of been doing it or kind of practicing my whole life, like many of you and your listeners, I'm sure do. But officially, I officially dove in. I started taking classes around 1997, 98. And then by, I think, 99, I was doing commercials, and, by 2000, yeah, I was already in the video game, world. And so, yeah, it's been a long haul, about 24 years, 25 years now.
Man,
Crazy, yeah.
time flies, my guy.
It really does, it really does. It goes so fast. It still seems like just yesterday when I was starting out and doing my first gigs and stuff like that. And now I get to meet people like you and go to fan cons and do streaming with the other cast members and people. It's just the welcome, the response you get from people is just it's crazy. It's like, why? I'm just a guy. I'm just goofing off like you, like you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
that.
It's a very
uh,
interesting. Oh, go on.
no, no, you continue.
Oh, thank you. So it's very interesting that you used to be a paramedic because
Yeah,
I actually want to be a doctor or a paramedic myself actually.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's a lot of work, and, I probably should have, stayed in school for all the topics, all the subjects, but, yeah, no, it's a very I had a nice balance. I had my work at the fire department. I was, for, like, the last, 30 some years, I've been in communications, 911, and all that, and so I'd do that during the day, and then on my days off or when I'd leave work, I'd be working at some theater or recording voiceover on my days off. And so I've been juggling both. So it's created a nice balance. I have my serious, passionate job, and then I had my creative, artistic, passionate job. And it's been about 3 years or so that I've retired from the fire department. So now I'm a full-time struggling artist. And so I get to goof off all day long now. Um, there you go. Good luck in your medical career, though, if you decide to stick with it.
honestly, after this episode, I just want to move on to other things with my life and try to find myself and where I belong in the world. And obviously,
Yeah,
I would like
that's
to thank
awesome.
I would like to thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Yeah, I think we've been trying to make this happen for quite some time now.
Yeah,
I'm glad
yeah,
it
yeah,
finally.
yeah. I
I'm
think we
glad
were.
it finally happened.
I think we tried to get you for like the first ever episode. I think, if I
Uh huh.
remember
Uh huh.
correctly.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and that's like almost a year ago.
Wow. Yeah. I know
Ah,
you we've been passing on the Discord server and just like, "Hey, how's it going? You want to go on? Well, we need to talk sometime." And yeah, but
yeah.
anyway, I'm glad it's finally happening. So this is
Yeah.
great.
Better late
Thank
than
you very much
never.
for having me. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, 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 yeah,
It's
yeah.
and I do apologize for not talking. I it's very emotional on this episode for me since it's my final one, and I won't be podcasting after that.
yeah. Uh,
Well, you know what? You know what you do when you leave something like this? You kinda you're the consultant, people start coming to you like, "Oh my god, well, the guest that just freaked out and started, like, talking nonstop and wouldn't come up for air. What do we do?" And so they
the
have to
guests
call
stopped
you and
breathing.
ask you
They
what to
lost too
do
much
and
air for answering the
yeah,
questions.
yeah, like, "What do we do in such a situation?" And so, but you know what? Good. This is just something under your belt and you just move on and you get all that other life experience going and you only live once, so get as much in as you can. Get as much life in as you can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow, that
That
Uh,
was
that means a lot.
profound. That was deep.
yeah. So far, do you want
Wow.
to take this next question?
Yeah, sure. I was gonna let you do it, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want this all to be, divided equally since this is your final episode and such.
Thank you. Thank you both so much.
Oh man, it was my last episode. They didn't let me ask anything, man. That sucked, man. I should have quit sooner.
Yeah, you can take this question so far.
All right. So, is there any favorite pieces of horror media that you have in mind?
You know, there's there's so much good horror media, and by media, do you mean like video games, animation, everything,
Yeah,
or
yeah, that's
yeah,
yeah.
that's a huge question. Let me just kinda stick to, video games, I think. I have to say I have to mention Bendy, of course, but, really, my my go-to favorite has always been the Bioshock series. I
Ooh.
love Bioshock. What for a couple reason. One, because it's beautifully done and it's the game's kind of old now, but the artwork in it is just gorgeous. The animation, the storyline is great. And it's just scary and creepy enough. There are some games that are too scary and I can't play them. I can't go on because I freak out. So BioShock is a really good scary series that I keep playing over and over every couple years, because I love it, and also I love the Dead Space series. I haven't played, the new one they did last year, the
Yeah, the
reboot one.
remake.
Yeah, yeah, I wanna play that because I really love that. Same thing, just really, really good story, good scares, good jump scares, but not anything that freaks me out. Um, Other media, this is really, really old school, but, like, when I was a kid and movies like The Exorcist and The Omen that came out, like,
Oh,
about the
yeah.
devil and possession, I mean, I prefer that kind of scariness, stuff that, messes with your mind and soul rather than jump scares and slasher gore type things like, I don't know,
Friday the
like the
13th.
Friday the 13th and Halloween, those type of movies. They're fun and all that, but I found out it was like the Saw movies I started finding out. I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to those slasher movies. Like, I just close my eyes for certain things, but I love being, creeped out, scary, stuff that messes with your mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you mentioned you were a fan of Bioshock, right?
I love BioShock.
Yeah, yeah,
I
because
love Bio
like yeah, if I remember correctly, I think that was like one of the main inspirations for the original Bendy and the Ink Machine games. Like
Yeah,
seeing it,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, because like I
and
think the Meatly like said something like about how Bioshock was like one of his favorite games, and like it's
definitely, yeah,
yeah,
and you can see it for sure. People kind of, take little jabs and say like, "I don't know, it's kind of BioShocky to me," but it is. I mean, BioShock's a great game, and it's not the only kind of first-person shooter style game out there where you level up your character and your tech and all that stuff. And I think this is maybe dipping into another question, but when I first got into Bendy, when I was first cast, I had to check out the game, and I was pleasantly surprised that it was in the style of BioShock. Definitely not the same game, but I love that style of gameplay, and it's very dark and creepy. First game I got kind of freaked out by Sammy Lawrence.
oh yeah, yeah. Oh man, and like, I, didn't Bendy come out back in 2016 or 2017?
Yeah, I think it was around 2016 and it was being released in chapters,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was something new to me. I hadn't ever heard of games being coming out in chapters like that, and come to find out, it was because they were kinda making it up as they went. And, it was around chapter 5 or so where they contacted me and said, we have some plans for Joey and, we'd like they wanted to know if I was interested in doing it. So I came in around chapter 5. I don't think you hear me in the first game at all, but I started, voicing Joey around the time when chapter 5 came out for the first game.
Ooh,
Yeah, is that
interesting.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
a little foreshadowing for the other question after this one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying
yeah.
to hold back because I know I'm probably dipping into other questions,
No,
so I don't
you're
wanna mess
fine.
up
You're perfectly
I
fine.
I don't wanna mess up your flow.
No
Yeah,
worries, Dave.
yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine. So now we got your favorite pieces of horror medium. Do you have any favorite pieces of animation? Considering you play a character who's essentially the Walt Disney of the
The
universe.
father. I just love all kinds of animation, and that is another huge loaded question. Like I mentioned before, I grew up on Looney Tunes, and Looney Tunes like old school, golden age of animation, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, all that stuff. We used to call them Saturday morning cartoons because we pretty much only had cartoons on Saturday mornings for a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
time. That's what got me hooked. The animation was fantastic. The acting in those cartoons was great. And I've said so many times, like in the last 20 years, that Looney Tunes cartoons uh, is the best acting class I've ever had. Their timing, their jokes, the humor, the style. It's just fantastic. So that's when it all started out. But through the years, I love comic books, and so I love that type of artistry, and, I think it was back in the '80s, Ralph Bakshi came out with there's an old
Yeah.
movie, animated movie, if you've ever heard of it, it's called Fire and Ice,
Ooh,
and,
I think
it's
that sounds
great
familiar.
story, great animation, and, this was, like, in the mid to late '80s. I was working in a video store, and I got onto that and just thought, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I wanna be a cartoon artist. I wanna be a comic book artist," and then, and then, cut to lately in the last couple years, um, I think, Arcane is just, League of Legends.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
I
based off League of
I
Legends.
Yeah, I think that is a masterpiece. I think
Yeah.
the artwork, the animation, the storytelling, the voice acting is all just fantastic. I couldn't stop watching it when I first saw it, and, I'm getting ready to rewatch it because I think season 2 is coming up pretty soon. But, yeah, I love all kinds of animation. Um I think that's probably my top stuff. How's that? That good
Yeah,
answer?
I agree with you, like, especially with Arcane, that show's, like,
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah,
great, and I have
yeah.
never played League of Legends before, but yet the show just does a fantastic job of, just storytelling and world building. You
Yeah,
don't need to,
yeah,
like, know a single
exactly.
thing about it. It's just,
Yeah.
ugh,
I'm
I love
I'm
it.
glad you brought that up too, because 'cause I've played League of Legends a couple times, and, it's okay, but you don't need to know the game to enjoy the series and the story. It's so well done. I love it so much. Great work. I can't wait
Yeah.
for the next one.
Yeah, so far, are you awake? Are you still
Yeah, no,
alive?
I'm here. Don't worry. I'm just I'm
Yeah,
trying
you
not
were
to.
finished.
Huh? No, I'm not trying not to interrupt. That's why.
Yeah, no,
You're
you're fine. You're
crying. Don't cry, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure
Get out
you're
of the
just not
corner over there.
yeah,
Come on, sit up
come on,
straight, man.
come
Wipe
on,
your
answer
eyes. Come
answer the
on.
next question, come on.
Yeah. All right. All right. Okay. So, how did you So, besides all the animations and you getting into acting classes for Looney Tunes, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, like, I like Looney Tunes myself. Obviously, Bugs Bunny. We all
Mhm.
know and love him. So,
Yep.
um, how did you So when it comes to Joey Drew as his character, how did you get the part for Joey Drew?
That was just, a casting thing. You know, there's 2 ways that casting works for me and for a lot of the voice actors that, I work a lot with on games and stuff. We either get an email that's from Lonnie Manella. I don't know if you've heard of Lonnie Manella, but if it
Yeah,
wasn't for
yeah.
Lonnie Manella, many of us, beloved, voice actors, especially most of us or all of us from Bendy and the Dark Revival, Bendy and the Ink Machine, we wouldn't be here because 'cause she's been our video game director and producer for years. She gave me my first, video game job back in, like, 2000 to 1999 or year 2000. Anyway, I got an email from her, or maybe it was Lauren Singer, who plays the voice of Allison Angel, Cartoon Alice, Crazy Alice, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, or it might even have been the Meatly. And so what I was saying is I either get these emails that say, here's an audition, or sometimes I'll just get an email from Lonnie usually that says, "We're casting this game and we think you'll be good for one of these characters. Pick one or pick them all and send us a sample." So it's kinda like an audition, but it's kinda not because like, they're kinda telling you, "We already want you to be in this game. We're just trying to figure out who you're gonna be." So I can't remember if the Joey thing came to me like that, or I just don't know who it came from. It might have been Lauren or, the Meatly himself. And it said, "We have this game, we need to cast Joey. There currently is another actor playing the voice of Joey, but, we are going in a different direction." Not meaning there's anything wrong with the original actor, just for whatever reason, we need a different Joey. So, and then come to find out in the second game, it is a different Joey. It's a memory Joey, and he's a younger Joey. And so, they said, "But here's the voice, that David Eddings, did. So can you do a version of Joey that's based on this?" And so I just sent them a sample, and we call it, sound alikes rather than impressions. They say, "Here, we need a sound alike. Can you sound like Joey Drew?" And so they sent me this, a script, and I sent them. Gosh, what was the script? It was something with, "Believe can make you strong," or, whatever that one is. Um, "Believe can make you, you know, cheat death itself." And I sent them back that, and then, this is when the Meatly for sure got back to me and said, "Yeah, we'd like you to be, Joey Drew, but beware. If you do decide to take on this role, it's the fan base is pretty incredible, and if you take on this role, you're gonna have to start, traveling the world, meeting your fans." And I went, okay."
Just just a
And, and
it's
yeah,
just
I
like
thought
a
it was kind of
little
just a
warning.
line. It was a little warning, but I thought it was just kind of a line. I'm like, "Oh, sure, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'll do it." And, and then I did the gig. And then I saw the first game, and I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay." But then when I would talk about it in public, that's when I started catching on. Like, I would be sometimes I get invited to theater classes or voiceover workshops, and I'm asked to, like, speak or tell my story and that type of thing. And then when I start giving example of some of the games that I voiced, I'll say, "Yeah, and I just voiced, Bendy and then when I get that far, people in the room who were not even really paying attention, they would go I would hear gasp like, What? Bendy?" And then I would say, "Bendy and the Ink Machine," and then I would say, "And I play the voice of and I would get just that much out, and people would jump all over me like, "Joey Drew! Oh my god, Joey Drew! Ah! Oh, yeah, Joey Drew!" And then I'm like, "Oh my gosh, people are kinda weird about this game." And then, it didn't come out for like like 10 years. And then, after a while, I kinda stopped telling the story. "Yeah, I'm Joey Drew," 'cause,
Got a whole
it's
fan
been
base, my
10
guy.
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
but now when it finally came out, it's like, wow, yeah, it was all true. It's true, it's true. The fans are amazing.
Yeah.
But, that's how I got it. I got an email. They asked if I could sound like Joey. I sent them my version, and I got the gig. And I'm so happy that I did. My life really has changed because of Joey Drew.
Yeah. I think you also I was gonna ask you another question, like how did you prepare for the role, but it seems as though you already answered that one.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, no, I'll continue with that a little bit because this is a little different. This is a little different gig because like as an actor on stage, if you understudy somebody who's playing the role on stage, you got to honor what the original actor did in rehearsal so you don't mess up what the director and the actors did and the other actors that are in the show. You don't want to mess up what they did, but at the same time as an actor, you still wanna kinda bring your stuff, your talent. And with, and when I got cast as Joey, I wasn't I was trying to sound like the Joey voice that David Eddings created, but at the same time, I was trying to bring a different Joey. And when we recorded it, the thing they kept, bringing up, we kept talking about, "Well, this Joey has a lot of heart. This Joey is a younger Joey. He might have regrets, and he has a relationship with some of the characters, and we wanna hear a lot of that." And so that was really put into my version of Joey. And then, well, I don't know, has anybody played the game? Have you guys all played the game?
I
Yes.
did. I did.
Yeah.
When when you're in Artist Alley, that part, they were like, "Now this is like a tour." And so I pictured it kinda like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland, if you've ever been on that. They're like, you're like in this, I think at the time they were saying you're in a little car or something, or a door opens up and you go into a certain section, and then Joey's voice comes on and describes what you're seeing. And so I kinda went into my Disneyland, uh, you know, uh that type of feeling, "This is a tour. You're going through Artist Alley." And so that's kind of the extra stuff that went into preparing for the role, not just trying to mimic the original Joey, as much, but trying to maintain those flavors and those dynamics that the original Joey had, but bringing a new and different Joey, to the game, to the party.
Mm,
You're trying to
yeah.
bring it's like you're trying to bring the new character to life.
Yeah, and so that's all what was going on in my head. And what happens when you voice a video game or animation, you don't usually have the pictures in front of you. That's what the producer's there for, the director. They're the ones that kind of explain what's happening in the scene or in the world. And they're usually just telling it to you right before you voice the line. So there's, Lauren was saying, yeah, so then you go into this area and this light comes on, and there's, these artists sitting at a table, and this is what the people touring the studio would experience. And so you imagine this in your head, and then you do the voice based on that, and then you don't see it until the game comes out. So when the game did finally drop, was like, November 15th, 2022, I was like, "Oh my gosh, wow, that's what that looks like. Oh my wow, that looks that looks completely different than what I imagined." And, yeah, but pleasantly surprised. It was all done so well, so well.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely agree with that. Sorry, that
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
just a lot. I'll just
yeah. It's heavy. I'm
yeah,
pretty deep, pretty heavy, you know?
yeah. So, were there any challenges when performing the voice of Joey? Was there, like, any big sort of expectations for your character or for your performance?
Going into it, like I mentioned, the Meatley had mentioned that, yeah, this is gonna be a huge deal, and there's some really loyal Bendy fans, and Joey's the guy that created it all. So, and plus it had already been voiced by this, other actor, and I loved what he did. What I loved, was the highs and lows that he had with Joey. His Joey is a little more kinda grovelly, maybe kinda, I don't seem like a bigger guy. Um, but I would like to have I would like I wanna stay true to that. So I had kind of a couple ideas in my mind. I kinda had like, I had the feeling that Joey was kind of a dreamer, and at the same time, he was like a businessman, and he was also a showman. So around his business partner, he might be kind of gruff and kinda talk hard. Uh, but then when he was a showman, it would kinda get a little shiny, and it would be kinda, "Everything's great. Oh, you're gonna love this." And then he would kinda dream a little bit. He would kinda say, We're everything's just great." Yeah. And so those were kind of the elements that I tried to maintain, and, and sometimes it's difficult because 'cause I'll get stuck in one of them. Like even now when I do Joey, when people say, "Hey, can you do the voice?" I'll just go, "Hi, I'm Joey Drew," and I just kinda stick in this area. But then I kinda forget that every now and then I gotta bring some of this in there. And then, sometimes it's gotta kinda be a little Jimmy Stewart, yeah. And so, trying to maintain all those at the same time, it can be difficult. Um, I think that's it, and then, the challengers also were the day we recorded it, I think we did it all in 1 day, or I think there was a couple sessions because we recorded it way back, like in 2017 or 18, and then there were some changes with, Joey Drew Studios became Kindly Beast for a little bit, and then it went back to Joey Drew Studios. When it became Kindly Beast, I think there was some changes, or maybe that's when we originally recorded Joey Drew. And then when there were some more changes, we went back and we recorded other stuff, like they changed the story. So, so there was a couple sessions, but I remember however many sessions we had, I was in the same room I'm in right now, and it was in the middle of summer like it is right now, and it was hot. And I remember
Ooh.
thinking that, yeah, this is gonna be kinda cool. I like to videotape my sessions sometimes so I can make videos out of it and stuff like that. And I had a camera and stuff, everything was all set up, and I recorded the entire thing, but I couldn't use any of it because I was literally dripping sweat, melting my hair. It would look like I jumped in the swimming pool or something.
Oh,
And so
no.
I'm like wiping my face off with a towel in between takes and stuff like that. So it was hot. It was physically hot. And then I don't know if this was a challenge, but, spoiler alert, if anybody hasn't gotten to the end of, Dark Revival, there's some pretty emotional, there's kind of a climactic scene when, Joey and the Ink Demon and Audrey all get together, and, um and it was pretty emotional, and I think I had just lost my mom not too long before that, and Lauren Singer, who was directing me, she had I don't know if she was going through stuff, but we got to that end stuff with, "Oh, Audrey, you gotta have heart." That kinda stuff, and I would do the take, and then there would be silence, and then you'd hear Lauren go, "Huh, that was beautiful," or something like that, or it would be so intense, so heavy, so emotional that to break the mood, I would be like, "You gotta have heart." And then Joey dies. And then, just to break the mood, I would have to do
Oh,
some weird, silly thing, but, it was pretty emotional. So I don't know if that was a challenge, but it was very intense, and it was, really kind of a beautiful, lovely thing. It was kinda pushing the bounds where actors like to go on these little journeys and stuff like that, and Lauren was right there with me the whole time, and helping me along the way. It was a beautiful thing. So I don't know if it was a challenge, but it was a really neat experience.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, I just really like the fact that like you have like different types of voices for Joey, for lack of a better word. Like I never
Yeah.
because like I never heard of stuff like that, and I did voiceover stuff in the past,
Oh,
mainly for
cool.
like for smaller projects, mainly for friends and
Yeah,
such.
yeah. No, that's all good.
Yeah, but like yeah, but like for Joey, I never even noticed the different like tones he does throughout the game. Like I mean, yeah, I knew about the groveling kind of voice,
Yeah. Yeah,
but like
yeah.
yeah, I didn't notice like everything else. But now you pointed it out, yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, I do have students and voice acting students, and I always tell them, voice acting, people say, "Is it voiceover or voice acting?" And, either or whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. But whatever it is, voice acting, voiceover, voice acting is acting. So the better actor you are, the better performer you are, the better it's going to be. And it doesn't mean just pretending and making a weird voice. It is there's truths in there, and there's real stuff that goes behind it. And when you bring that honesty and you believe in the words that you're saying as that character, it's going to come across on mic, and it's gonna make a difference. And so this version of Joey, especially in those climactic scenes at the end of the game, there was a lot of emotion going on in there. And people think what they think of Joey, and Joey's a good guy or Joey's a bad guy or Joey's a guy that people love to hate. But this was a chance to kind of redeem himself a little bit, maybe feel
Ah,
remorse for some of the things he had done. And so you got to bring that out through the character. And I don't know what the game's going to look like. I don't know how it's going to be animated. So as an actor, as a voice actor, I got to do my best to make sure you can hear it in my voice. And come to find out, the animators love that because that helps give them something to work with. So I love that. I love the process.
yeah, same here. uh, Safar, are you still alive, or
Yeah,
did he?
I'm here.
All
Somebody
right,
wake up
okay.
Safar.
So,
Safar,
come
wake
on,
up.
come on, come on,
Hello.
wake up,
Shh, shh.
wake up.
Safar is sleeping.
All right, you can take this. Oh, we woke up. The bird is
He's
awake.
awake. Oh, great. Now you woke up Safar. Damn it. Gonna take me forever to get him asleep again.
All right, all right. You can answer this next question, Safar.
All right, so that was very emotional for me to hear. It seems to me they picked the right guy to play Joey Drew after all.
Ah, thanks,
Uh,
man. That's very nice.
Yeah, man. I hope they keep you, man, and especially with Bendy 3 on the way.
can't
Yeah,
wait.
I know it. I know it.
So yeah, no.
Well,
What? Yeah.
well, if you know anybody in the business, put a good word in for me, okay?
Oh, of course I
Definitely,
will.
definitely will.
What do you think of Joey as both a person and character altogether?
Um, I love Joey. I love Joey. I love what he is, what he stands for. And yeah, I love comparing him to the Walt Disney parallel universe figure because that's who he is. He started out with a dream and a pencil and and he created this world, and that was one of his strokes of genius, and all the rest came after that. And I think Joey is also a victim of being a human being, and he just some of all that fame and fortune got to him, and he got a little greedy, and he got a little power hungry, and he started wanting more and more and more, like many of us do. And then he became that Joey. Um, Now we only get to know him through the tapes and the notes in the first game. And in that first game, it's like, wow, yeah, this guy's kind of a jerk. Like, I don't really like this guy that much. But I love what he created. And then the second game came out, then we had that other layer I was just telling you about, how we know that, Joey died, in, like, 1970, 71. He was an old man, and, he died penniless or whatever, and it was a sad, little cheesy apartment that he lived in. Uh, but now we're doing another Joey that it's kinda like the better version of Joey, the younger version of Joey when he's more in his prime, and, but he has the memories of the old, of the entire first Joey's life, so we're adding that layer in. So, I love what Joey stands for. I love that he is also a bad guy because he's so good at it, and I love to hate him, and I think everybody loves a good villain. And I think my experience, with the fandom, people love Joey. if and if they don't like him, they love to not like him, for their reasons. So it's kind of a complex he's a complex character, and that's kind of a complex question. But I love Joey, and the response I get when I talk to people in streams or when I chime into their Twitch streams or their Discord servers, um, or when I meet people at the fan cons now, the reception is just amazing. It just like people love the game. People love Joey, and just the way they react is just it's mind-blowing. Amazing. I love Joey.
Hey man, I
Yeah.
love you too, man.
Y
I love
yeah,
you. I love you.
yeah, I really definitely like Joey, like, especially in the 2nd game, like, it's yeah, because, like, he's not really, like, a straightforward character, like, in the 1st game, you only see him as, like, this Walt Disney-esque character who may or may not have killed some people and turned them to ink things, whatever, but, like, in the
Yeah.
2nd game, like, he's way more human, for lack of a better
Yeah.
word. He just has more character. You just get to know him more in the 2nd
Right.
game.
In the
Yeah,
first game, you get to find out what he did through the tapes and the notes. You find out and from everybody else, like, what a jerk he was and how he did this and how he did that, and that's the Joey we know. But in the second game, Joey's kinda like he pops up and he's there to help. He's
yeah,
there to help Audrey through, and he's there to give, some important information and to encourage her and all that. So, yeah, it's a different kind of Joey, but still at the same time, his motivations for being, we find out what his motivations are, but he kinda has a conscience in the second game. So, gosh, who knows what's gonna be in store the next time we see Joey? Hopefully.
yeah.
Hopefully, if we see Joey.
Yeah, and you said before you did some voices for Joey, like, all the way back in the 1st game, right? And, like, you did some recordings for Dark Revival, but, like, you said
Yeah.
they changed the story a bit. Were there any, like, scrapped lines or anything from your previous recording sessions that you wished were in the game, or do you just have a simple typo?
Yeah, probably the entire game of Showdown Bandit, would be one. No, that's kind of a joke.
I You were in Showdown Bandits?
Yeah, I was a clown named Boris. No,
Oh,
was it Boris? Something Bubbles Bubbly Booblix. Buddy Booblick was his name. He was he was kind of a burnout showbiz vaudevillian clown.
I did not know that!
And I think it all got scrapped. I don't think you ever got to meet Buddy Booblick.
Oh my
But
god.
with all the stuff that is coming out from the Meatly now, I have a feeling we might be seeing I have this gut feeling, and this is nothing official. I don't know anything. I don't know a thing, but I have a gut feeling we might be seeing Showdown Bandit come back.
Yeah, I've
And
been
I hope
seeing
so because I had a blast playing this character named Buddy Bublik. He was like a burnout old clown puppet.
yeah, I've been seeing stuff for Showdown Bandit as of late. For like, and
Yeah,
that game
yeah,
has been
yeah,
in
yeah.
development for a long time, and yet
Yeah,
for
I
some
think
reason, like it's all like there's stuff slowly coming up and not officially. It's
yeah,
or not officially
yeah,
official. It's just more so just like it's
yeah,
official
yeah.
stuff, but like we don't know what's gonna happen.
Something might happen. So there's that, and yeah, I do not know what the lines are, but there's a whole bunch. There's like a whole, I think, I really shouldn't say it like that, but there's a whole different session of lines and a script that were trashed because I'm the game changed, the company changed, the developers, they changed their mind and we went back in and redid a few things. And I have all that stuff all saved on a external drive here, right, just right here at the tip of my fingers. I'm actually touching it right now. But I haven't pulled it up or listened to it or looked at it in many, many years. I keep meaning to, but I don't. But there's a lot. There's a whole lot.
Uh,
Um, I should have looked at it before I came on with you guys today.
yeah,
There's a lot.
I did not know they changed the story for Dark Revival. Like, I knew there were like some changes, like the Ink Demon's model being altered to be more beastly and such, but like I didn't think they would like change the entire story. Like, it's just
Yeah,
all
and that's why I can't officially go out and say, like, they changed the whole story, but we did. I think when I first this is all kind of fuzzy, so I apologize for that.
you're
It's been a
good, you're
long
good.
time. We had a whole pandemic that kinda messed with my mind and stuff. But I think when I first voiced Joey, it was under Kindly Beast, and we did what we did, and then the game never came out for a number of years, and then they restructured the company again, and it went back to Joey Drew Studios, and then I think it was 2021 where I went back in and did some more stuff. So I don't know if it was just additional scenes or if it was different stuff that was rewritten in. But, I do believe that the couple times that I voiced Joey, were pre were like original script and then like restructuring of a script. So there's definitely a director's cut and some stuff on the, cutting room floor that, could be, salvaged and used someday. It's kind of exciting, but I don't know. I mean, really have to go into this disk drive here and see what is on there. But
Yeah, yeah.
there definitely is stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Gold.
would
And
I
I and
would
I and maybe I could share it for $1,000,000.
a couple $1,000,000 per
Give us a
page.
hug. Give us a hug.
Oh man, I would
Mhm.
love to see like the behind the scenes of like the story of that game, man. Like just the story itself, not the entire production, just the story itself. I'm a story nerd. And
Me too. Here's I don't even know if this is a question coming up yet, but, what I would love to see, maybe for another game or, in the future, I would love to see a version of Bendy of when the studio was in its prime, when it was like
oh
1930, when everybody's going to work, and like a day in the office of Joey Drew Studios when they're typing up memos and the animators are getting the memos
yeah,
or they're
yeah, yeah.
making tapes. And I wanna see when things start going wrong, and I wanna see when Joey starts, practicing the occult and, experimenting with the ink machine and stuff
It
like
starts
that.
worshiping the
Um
gods, they say.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I wanna see that version of the story. So, maybe in the future, that's what we'll get.
Yeah, I think like they just released a graphic novel version of like one of the books, Dreams
Yeah,
Come to
yeah.
Life. Yeah, yeah, and
Dreams
that
come to
kind of
life.
like
Yeah, yeah.
delves into like the past sort of
Yeah. Was
Joey
that the
Drew
one in
Studio.
the 50s? Was that the one in the 50s when they did the TV when
No,
the
no,
Bendy
that's
animated series?
no, that's like I think that's like another book.
Yeah,
But
that was the last book.
yeah,
I get 'em
yeah,
confused.
yeah. Like there's not many books. Not I'm surprised there's not many Bendy books, but
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I would love to see like a sort of like prequel-ish kind of story in
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
period. That'd be so interesting
Yeah,
to see.
yeah, a game that you can play, maybe you are the first, animator that is selected for experimentation, the ink machine or something like that, or,
Like
yeah,
but
something, I don't know.
just like
Yeah.
full Portal but bendy essentially.
Yeah, 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 before it's trashed. When you see movies like Lord of the Rings or you know, you go into that world or Star Wars, there's
Yeah.
always the cities are in ruins and the columns are
And
all
you and
trashed
you ju
and
and you just wanna see the original location
yeah,
in
it's
its
like
prime.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wanna go back and see when it was all nice and when people lived there, you know, we always see renditions of what the Mayan and Aztec temples look like. I don't know, I wanna see it. I don't wanna see the ruins, I wanna see the actual, you know, guys going on and turning on their, you know, their old, light switch and stuff like that.
Oh, man. Uh,
Totally,
Safari, do you wanna take
totally.
this one? I
Safar?
think he's dead.
Hello.
I think Safar he quit
Never
early.
mind, he's
He
still
said,
alive.
this is my last day, I'm clocking out now. What are you gonna do, fire me?"
We're keeping Safari on life support here, guys. I'm sorry.
Beep.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
he
my
started
my
yeah,
my apologies.
No, you're
he
fine,
he
you're
started
fine.
his retirement party early.
Yeah, you can
um,
take this, next one, Far.
Honestly, man, just hearing you guys talk, like I just want to fall asleep to that.
Aw,
Indie horror
it's
talk
like a
episodes that make you fall
lullaby.
asleep to, yes.
Yes. Hey, wait a minute, this would be a good time to just remind your listeners, if you are sleeping, wake up.
Yeah, come on. Wake up! Wake up! You're
Hey,
you're
this is
you've
good
left
stuff
YouTube
right
on.
here.
You're
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, and we're all back. Wait, one more guy, wait. Alright, are you awake? You awake? Okay,
alright.
good, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, alright,
Go ahead,
everyone's
Safar.
alright, good. Next question.
All right. Okay. So, are there any favorite lines you did for Joey?
Favorite lines,
Yes.
favorite lines. Well,
Hmm.
there's a few favorite lines. My go-to lines that just because I think it just kinda surmises, the Joey in my mind and his relationship, with his daughter is, "Oh, Audrey." It's so simple, but for me, it just kinda it's just the way he feels. "Oh, oh, Audrey." And that could mean like, "I'm so proud of you. You're my little girl," or "Oh, get him, tiger." Um, so there's that, and then, yeah, of course, you know, people, you know, when I sign things or when I talk to people like to hear like, "Just a pencil and a dream." That's always fun, and when I do that, people just go, "Oh my god, he said it, oh my god, he said it."
You said the thing!
He's it's so cool. There was that, and then, uh, the, one of my favorite lines, from that Joey says was actually not a line that I said as Joey. It was, um It was David Eddings' version of Joey, and I love this line because I think it was my audition line when they sent me the script and said, "Can you sound like this guy? Can you sound like this guy Joey? And here's this line." What I loved about this line is it has all the ingredients for Joey Drew. It has that lower resonance in it, and it has the shiny showman Joey, and then it has the dreamer in it, and David Eddings did it so beautifully. It's kinda like my go-to thing to remember all those elements of Joey, and so when I sent them back this line of my version, they're like, "Yeah, wow, yeah, you got it," and I have the line pulled up if you wanna hear it.
Oh, yeah, I think we all would like to hear it.
And now this is different than what you've traditionally heard because, like I say, you've heard David Eddings do it, and thanks to him, we have my version of Joey that is based on the work that he did, and so I'm not doing this to take away from him, but to complement his work on it because, again, I say this speech has all the elements that I love about Joey, the deeper, the harder Joey, the shiny Joey, and the dreamer Joey. And he says, There's nothing wrong with about dreaming. Wishing for the impossible is just human nature. Well, that's how I got started. Just a pencil and a dream. We all want everything without even having to lift a finger. They say you just have to believe. Believe can make you succeed. Believe can make you rich. Believe can make you powerful. Why? With enough belief, you can even cheat death itself. Now that is a beautiful and positively silly thought. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Now,
That
see, to
was
me, that's a different version. That's a different Joey from what you're used to hearing and how that line sounds. But to me, it has all the elements that I need to do my version of Joey. And so thank you, David Eddings, for your work and your creativity and for guiding me down my path to the version of Joey we have in Dark Revival.
yeah, thank you, Claptrap. Yeah, I think he also
Claptrap, yeah.
Yes!
and And then I think the first time I officially voiced Joey, the first time you heard, me when I took over, it was for a promo, and then the game still didn't release for, like, another 4 or 5 years, and you can find it on YouTube. It's,
Yeah,
just a tape recorder, and it says, "From the desk of Joey Drew,"
yeah, I remember
and,
seeing those videos when they came out.
yeah, and it's only about a minute long, and it's just the tape recorder, and it zooms in on the tape recorder, and the play button hits, and it says something like, gosh, I can't remember the line, but it's like, "Here at Joey Drew Studios, we've been knocking down a few walls, nothing is
Yeah,
too good for my Joey Drew family, and, we've been cooking up something in the kitchen." And, that was my first official, when they put my voice out there as Joey. And it's only about a minute long on YouTube, and it's still out there. So um, that's when I was like, yeah, all right, I'm in the
Is it
driver's
on the
seat. Yeah, yeah,
is it on the Joey Drew Studios YouTube channel?
I think so.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
If you look up, I think if you just put from the desk of Joey Drew, let's see, from the desk.
let me look up on my phone as well. Let's see. From from the desk
Yeah, I found
of
it.
uh
Yeah,
February 10th, 1931. From the
geez, that
desk of
long?
Joey Drew.
yeah, it was like
5 years
90 years ago.
ago. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
I feel
it came
I
out a
feel
long
old
time ago.
I feel
Yeah.
old now.
Yeah, and then the game dropped just about 2 years ago, and, yeah, I wonder if I put this up to the microphone, if you can hear it at all,
Uh, yeah, I was like
or
15 when this
you
first
can
came
chop it
out,
in.
and we could
Oh
probably
my
chop it
god.
in.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I was 57.
and oh my god. Yeah, again, I was like 15 when that or at least like 15 or 14 when that came out. Oh my
Crazy.
god.
Yeah, I was going on my 4th marriage.
Oh. Oh no. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
joking, by the
god.
way.
No
But anyway, yeah,
way.
that was my very first, official Joey Drew gig, and then the Meatly, that little trickster puppet he is, he
Well,
would then, have me come in every year and do, like, an April Fool's video. Like, I would do some promo like, "Bendy Royale. Don't forget your Bendy crates." And then he'd run that on April Fools and make everybody think, "Oh my gosh, it's the trailer for the new game. The drop is finally coming." And then it would always end with, April Fools."
yeah,
So I did a couple of those too
yeah.
before, and this is all I did that stuff before, Dark Revival even came out. So, That might have been kind of a sneaky way of getting the fandom used to a different Joey voice in, in
Yeah.
the driver's seat.
Yeah, because like, when I first, like, heard your performance, I didn't even notice, like, you play Joey. I thought it was still, David Eddings'
Eddings.
Joey.
Yeah, and I noticed that too. When it first dropped, I was up all night that first day that the game dropped. I was on YouTube and watching Twitch streams, and every time when somebody would walk into that, whenever when gate players would walk into that one part of the sewers or wherever he was in the studio, and Joey's up there with his lantern, uh, you just whatever he said it like a word or 2, and you didn't even really see him yet. Everybody playing would always go, "Joey?" Like, they would always say it first before they even
Yeah.
showed him, and it's like, they know, and it's like, it's a different Joey, but people know, so that was really cool. I really, really enjoyed seeing all that
Yeah,
response.
yeah, you did a really great job as Joey, like,
He's
yeah,
standing up on that catwalk with his lanterns and he says something like, "I believe there's something special in all of us." And then people, you barely see him and people are like, "Joey?"
oh my
And I'm like,
god, it's
"Ah,
Joey.
yeah, 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 the Joey's here." And he looks different, he's younger and they're like, "Joey?" I'm like, "Ah, yeah, they get it. They recognize me. Cool, cool."
Yeah. Yeah, you did such an amazing job, man.
Thank you so much. And that really does mean a lot. Because, I told you the process we went through. There was a lot of emotion, a lot of heart that went into the character, and we're hoping that that came through, and apparently it has.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I
Eh
tell you something while we're on that really quick?
oh, yes.
Again, spoiler no, it's kind of a spoiler thing, but at the end, at the very bitter end, um, we again, like I say, we don't as when we're doing the scene, when we're recording, we don't know what the animation looks like. We don't even have pictures of it. We just have, director's notes. Ink Demon picks up Joey, and it said something like the Ink Demon rips him in half or tears him in two or something like that.
What?
Extremely violent. So when we got to that part, Lauren and I are doing take after take of this violent, gurgling, blood curdling death of Joey, of just like getting torn in two. And for like first it was like first you're gonna get crushed and then you're gonna get ripped in two, or you're gonna get your head ripped off or something really extremely violent. And so we did that. We recorded all that. Remember, you're like, are there any lines that are missing that you are on the cutting room floor? Well, there's this.
Oh,
There's a very, very violent end that we recorded for Joey. And so for all the years that it took for the game to come out, that was the part that I was so interested in seeing. Oh man, I can't wait to see how they rip them up and they rip them in two or whatever's going to happen. And then when I saw it, there was they w- he got his deal done. He got squished and then kind of tossed aside, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, no, I mean, it was different than what I expected, but it was very good and very
yeah.
effective. The other stuff that I recorded may have been a bit much.
Yeah.
But the big surprise for me was I was expecting this huge, ultra violent, you know, death
Yeah,
with
it's like
ink
something out of
all
Mortal
over the
Kombat.
walls. Yeah, just hideous. But, it was a lesser, gruesome death for Joey, and, but no, I loved it. I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that works, right on. Good work,
Uh,
good work." But anyway, that's my little reveal on, what we did versus what you got, and,
yeah.
so
So
there, so
so
there.
you're telling me Joey Drew was actually going to be torn in half and whatnot?
I think it was something like that. I think there was
Uh,
like a 2 there was like a two-step death. I think there was crush, ripped in half, or
Oh boy.
crush, like stomped on, or something like really gruesome. But I
Ouch.
think maybe when they got to that point, maybe the crush was good enough. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, when in that scene, what really gets me the most every single time is when Joey gets crushed, you hear Audrey in the background go, "No."
Yeah.
Audrey's scream gets me every single time. Oh my gosh, every time. It's just it
Ah,
kinda says it all. Like, oh, it's awesome.
yeah,
Played by
man.
the, amazing Erin Lane, by the way.
Oh, we gotta get her on the show sometime.
You gotta get her on. Yeah, she's cool. Maybe next season. Um, sorry, Safar.
Yeah. Uh,
No
all
worries,
right.
my guy.
Damn. Ow. Oh, it's gonna be like that, huh? You
All
see
right.
how it is.
So,
That's it. I'm
so,
taking my stapler and I'm going home.
all right. So,
Oh
going
boy.
backwards, you said you got started voice acting for video games all the way back in like in the early 2000s or late 1990s, right?
Yeah, late 1990s.
Oh.
My very
Yeah.
first game was a helicopter game called Air Air was it Airblade? No, Gunship. It was like
Yeah.
an old,
Like,
like, Pros Microsoft, game or something like that. And
yeah.
my
Like,
lines were like, "Left, left, right, fire!" That was stuff like that.
yeah. But the reason I bring this up is because you played a character in like I think it was like in the early 2000s, like around the PS2 or Xbox.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think you know what this is. It's a little game called Frogger the
PS2,
Great Quest.
I
And
know
you
frog poop.
yeah, and you played Frogger in that game,
I was
and
the voice of Frogger, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I had no idea you played him until like I think a couple of months ago. But like when I saw you, like when your social media posts like advertising, like wait, wait, you played Frogger? You played
Yeah,
that guy? And
I
like
did.
and
I've had a I've been fortunate enough to have a couple big hits. Frogger was my first big hit. Now, let me disclaim by saying the game didn't do well at all. It came out on PS2 in the year 2001, and I was the frog, and it was the first time since the '80s that they had made a different version of Frogger. In the '80s, Frogger was this game, this, like, 8 pixel game that he just hopped across the road trying not to get hit by cars and hopped across the river trying to jump from log to log. That was it. But then in early 2000, they said, "Well, we wanna make this version of Frogger kinda like an Indiana Jones frog with, he's wearing cargo shorts and he has a vest and he's gonna hop across canyons." It was kind of like a Laura Croft kind of Indiana Jones splice version of Frogger. And he's gonna talk. And so I auditioned for Frogger. I got that gig and I played Frogger and also the arch nemesis in the game, the evil Dr. Sarkenstein, who sounded a lot like Dr. Evil. And so I played both those characters, and that was my first big gig. It took me 2 8-hour sessions to record that, and I was just so happy. I was so proud that I was Frogger. But again, the game didn't do great. The animation was still we were still finding our way as far as animation in video games went. And I never got a sequel to that version of Frogger, but years later, different versions of Frogger in that vein, the stand-up Frogger, wearing the
yeah.
cargo shorts and all that. That more of those versions came out on Game Boy and stuff like that. But
Yeah. Yeah, and
um,
the reason
yeah,
oh,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and the reason I bring up Frogger is because there's this one specific line I've seen. It's like I've seen multiple reactions to this line from many content creators in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you know what it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It goes, and I quote, "I wish I
Uh-huh.
may, I wish I must find a princess before I bust." And like, I just want to know, like, do you have any idea what that means? Like, at all? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, kinda. Well, like I say, they're trying to find their way in video gaming
Mhm.
back in 2000, the year 2000 when it was in development. But I think it's a take off of the line from, I think it's Pinocchio, when Geppetto's wishing on the star, that he wants to have a son, when he's saying, "Wish I may, wish I might, wish upon a star tonight." Um, there's like a little, like a rhyme that you say when you wish on a star, and I think it's a play on that. But
Ye
Frogger just being, this hopeful little kid, he's like, "Wish I may, wish I must, something, something before I bust." He wants to set out and find the princess, it was just a corny line. The short answer to your question, it was a takeoff of that line, "Wish I may, wish I might, wish upon a star tonight." Um, but they were trying to make a cute little joke out of it. And
but why
that's what that is.
bust?
Bust. Before I bust!
I knew it was something, but I didn't know it was
It
literal because, like, the way it was
it's a
said,
very corny line. It's a
and, like, and
very
the
corny
visuals
line.
from the game, it just, uh,
Oh,
it just
it's kinda like a waking nightmare, because 'cause, just the lighting and the animation is kinda weird. It almost looks like if they were to do Five Nights at Freddy's back then in a video game,
yeah,
because the characters all had kinda like that dead look on their face, like, "Ah, wish I may, wish I must, la 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 la."
yeah, and the
Um,
FNAF was made by a single guy, like, and he did, like, animation back in the day and stuff like that, but, like,
yeah,
it's just yeah, just
it
the
it was
animation
it was
and the presentation,
odd.
just the line itself, just combine that, it's just like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I have a proud, not a love-hate, but I have a proud love-shame relationship with that game because, I mean, I got I'm Frogger. I'm the voice of Frogger. It's like saying I'm the voice of Asteroid, or I'm the voice of Mario, or I'm the voice of Joust, some old '80s game. But the game didn't do well, and the animation was quirky for 2001. So that, I kinda, get a little ribbing for, I get a little people give me a hard time about it sometimes, but still, I'm like, "Dang, that's pretty cool. I'm the frog." And when people hear that, when they find that out, they don't really necessarily remember the weird animation, that weird game, and those weird lines from the game. They remember Froggers, like, "Oh, wow, really? You're the frog?" So it's
Yeah,
kinda funny. And
yeah,
in
'cause
that, and out of all the lines, that's not the only weird line there is. "Wish I may, wish I must, to do something before I bust." The thing he says throughout the whole line is "I know frog fu." So that's like, I know kung fu, but why is it frog fu? And he spits, that's one of his weapons. So it's kind of there's a whole bunch of weird stuff in that game.
yeah, yeah, and I think
And it was
Lonnie
real
Manella
cute.
also played a
Yeah,
character in that game, like, and
she
yeah, and she
she
played,
was the
like, a
fairy
yeah,
she
she
was
was
the
a fairy
fairy
frog
frog
mother.
mother.
Yeah, yeah, and, like, yeah, yeah, and she also played characters like Rouge and, like,
Mhm.
Lucas from Brawl,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
I
I
was
think,
in
like, a
Lucas.
oh, what?
I was in Lucas too. I was in a lot of games with Lonnie Manella, and, I was in Lucas too. I can't remember who I played. Let me
I was
see.
referring to, like, Lucas from, like, Smash Brothers, like, or Mother
Oh,
3,
yeah.
or
No, 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 no. No. Oh, no, you know who I'm thinking of a different Lucas. I
oh,
played, I played a character named Bad Breath Lucas from, this other game. What was that? It wasn't a game, it was an animated, short. What was that called? Oh, man, I can't remember. The
I need
Zap
to.
Squad. Zap
Oh,
Squad. If do you remember that? That was out, maybe about,
let me
more than
Google this
15
real.
years ago.
Let me Google
Zap
this.
Squad. Zap Squad. It
This
was like
sounds familiar.
4 4, kids that were kinda like superheroes. And, I played there was this guy that was a little kid. He had, like, slick back hair and wore a leather jacket, and he was kinda like a cross between, John Travolta, Vinnie Barbarino from Welcome Back, Kotter, and the Fonz from Happy Days,
Oh
and
yeah,
his
I found
name
it. I
was,
found it.
his superpowers, he had bad breath. He was called Bad Breath Lucas, and then, I played another guy named Earthquake in that movie, and, Earthquake Jones. Anyway,
Yeah,
that was the
man.
Lucas I was talking about.
I have so many
Okay.
questions for the both of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll stop talking now.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Just
No, 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 it's
Oh,
okay.
and
No.
Lucius.
I
This is
just
what
love
I
how.
was thinking of. This is what I was thinking of. I was in a game called Lucius in 2012. He was kinda
Oh,
like a possessed, demon kid. He was like, Damien from The Omen.
hold on. Let me. Man, like,
Go to my
man, I'm
go to my
learning. Oh,
IMDb page, and you'll see a list of some of my games. I've done a
yeah,
whole lot more games that are listed on that IMDb page.
yeah. Let me open that up. That up real quick. Let's see. Lucius. Lucius. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Ah, yeah. You. Yeah, I didn't know that. More you
Yeah.
know, I guess.
So, yeah, Frogger was my first big hit, and then about 15 years ago, my next biggest hit was I became, the voice of Captain Vakel Shan of the USS Enterprise F in Star Trek Online. And I
Ooh.
was really excited about that because I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I have been my whole life. And then I thought that was gonna be it. I thought that was the top. You know, I couldn't get any further than that. But then again, I didn't get the reception that I thought I would for being the captain of the Enterprise. I've had fans that have been lobbying to get me to be included with all the other captains of the Enterprises, you know, and to be invited to Star Trek cons to sit on the stage with them. I'm like, that's never gonna happen. Um, but then Joey Drew came along and nothing even comes close to the response that I've gotten, for, being the voice of Joey Drew.
Yeah, yeah. Bendy's like a really big like indie horror
It
IP.
it's it it's huge. It is huge. I still can't believe the response that I get from, being, the voice of Joey. It's just amazing, and I get to travel around and meet people, and I get invited to do talk shows like yours, and it's a dream. It's a pencil and a dream come true.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say something like that. Yeah.
I just made that up.
Yeah. Yeah. So Safar, do you want to take this next one?
Yeah, so far, I'm already loving this conversation with you both. So,
I just love how we just sidetracked
Aw.
from Frogger to Star Trek.
Yeah, 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 it's trippy. It's
Uh,
trippy.
I think I'm taking a bad trip, guys.
Mm.
All right. Yeah, you can
So
take this. Yeah.
Jackson, we both have a question for Dave, and this is from the both of us. And when can we see Joey Drew again in the future? If we can expect an appearance
Wow. Well, like I kinda mentioned before, I officially don't know. I officially probably can't say, even if I did know, which I don't.
from your for your
But
personal
but,
opinion.
uh, for my, personal hopes and dreams, I hope, and I would only think that you would get to see Joey in the next version of, Bendy. I hope you might get to I don't know what kind of game the cage is gonna be, but it would be nice to, do a couple tape recordings at least of Joey. I don't know, what is it, Bendy and Silent City or whatever?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh
yeah. I think that got like leaks a while back before it was officially announced.
Yeah, I don't know what kinda game that's gonna be. There's the Bendy movie that was announced, last year on Christmas Day. I officially, don't know anything about that. I don't know what the movie is gonna be, what kind of movie it's gonna be. Um, I don't know who is who, but I just I would just hope that Joey Drew would be in it, in all that. Um, I am pleasantly surprised at all the new characters that we got in Dark Revival, like Audrey and a speaking ink demon, Porter and Betty, and just all the characters. I love them all. They're all great. So I gotta kinda say, I hope we do continue to get these new amazing characters like that we love as much as we do as the new characters from Dark Revival. Come on. It's Joey Drew, he should be in all that. As should Bendy. Um and, hopefully we'll see Audrey as well. And gosh, while we're at it, you gotta have Alice Angel in there too. And while you're at it, just throw, Sammy Lawrence is there as well.
Yeah.
I just really don't know. I hope we see more of Joey. I hope Joey gets his own sitcom, on, you know, like he
I'm,
just meets with all his friends in a coffee shop, in an inky coffee shop. And,
I pay to see that.
yeah,
I,
I would
I
love
would
to see
lo-
that. I'd love
I would
to.
I would like to see 10 seasons in a movie of it.
Well, what would be good, like I was saying, I would love to see the studio in its heyday when everything was new and shiny and it was just a day in the life at Joey Drew Studios. So instead of that show, The Office, maybe we can have a show called The Studio. And the shaky cam just follows the artists around all day at the studio and you see what kind of trouble they get into.
Oh my god, I love to see that. Yeah.
But
Whew.
I think whatever happens, I think, I really don't know. Um, I would hope that whatever projects are coming up that, the stuff, if there's voices involved, if there's voice actors involved, that their stuff might already have been recorded or be in the can. Um, so I don't know what's happening, but, I think as far as a Bendy movie, I think it would be a great opportunity to do what they actually did in the video game and have animation cross over into the live world, which is basically what the game is.
Yeah,
I wish I think that would be the way to go, kinda like a Roger Rabbit
yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah. I would.
but in a sepia tone style, but with better technology these days, 25, 30 years after, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But I think in the style of Bendy, that would be the way they should go. But I also think some great animation like Arcane or some 3D claymation animation is also interesting, but to stay true to Bendy, it's a
Yeah,
great opportunity to make that inky animation cross over into the real world. I mean, this is a great time to do that in a Bendy movie. That's
yeah.
my take on it. I would hope to see that.
Honestly, I just always pictured like a bendy movie being like a cross between 3D animation and 2D animation. Like, just have some characters be 3D, mainly characters like Henry and Sammy.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
and characters like Alice, Boris, and maybe the Ink Demon be 2D animated, but like in different.
absolutely, because it is an animation studio and there are different styles of animation and there's different there's different, versions of the animation, when it starts out on the page and it comes off the page and, you add all these different elements to it, it gets more depth to it and all that. So who's to say? It's a great opportunity to do a Bendy movie and incorporate those ideas. That being said, as Hollywood does when these things happen, when they make movies out of our favorite comic books and video games and things like that, they bring in other talent to play the people. And I see if they do that. I understand if they do that. Same thing that happened with Captain Sean of the USS Enterprise F. The Enterprise F finally became canon to the world of Star Trek in Picard season 3 when they showed the Enterprise F. And I was like, well, nobody ever called me, and that's my ship. But it was a version of the ship before Vakel Sean was the captain. But I've always thought for the last 15 years, I go, yeah, if Vakel Sean ever makes it to the screen, they're gonna, Chris Pratt's gonna play Vakel Sean in on screen. And if Joey Drew ever makes it to the big screen, Chris Pratt's gonna play Joey Drew
I
in
always
the movie,
pictured Joey Drew being more of a J.K. Simmons kind of character.
Yeah, yeah, and he's
Yeah.
fantastic. He
Yeah.
yeah, the you know, the I completely see that. I love him as an actor. My only problem with that is it's pretty close to J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
Pretty similar. The
I mean,
look,
he
you know
yeah,
but
but
he'd be great.
also
He'd be
in a way,
fantastic.
Joey does kind of look like J.K. Simmons or J. Jonah
Yeah, yeah,
Jameson, like,
yeah,
or at the very least
for
in Dark
sure.
Revival, like he looks
Yeah.
almost identical to J. Jonah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that. I see that. But in my little froggy heart, gosh, I'd kind of like to see Dave Rivas play Joey Drew on the big screen,
I hey, hey,
Uh,
hey, I'd love to see it too. I mean,
yeah,
if
me
they can
too.
pull it off, like I second it.
Sure.
I second it, man.
Yeah, I
I
just
second it.
if they could, like, digitally remove, like, maybe 50 pounds, yeah, I think I'd do great for me. But you know what they say, and I think I heard, Sean Crisden say this on your very first episode of Indie Horror Talk. Sponsored by Jafar's father. Safar's father. Um,
Oh
uh,
god.
that, a lot of the Bendy, or I'm sorry, the Meatly has been pretty receptive to the fandom. So if you are fans out there, if you want something, you gotta let your game devs know what you wanna see. And the Bendy fandom is massive, and they have a lot of great ideas. And you see, if you're on Twitter X, you'll see that the Meatly and the game devs are on there quite a bit, asking questions and asking like, "What do you guys want? Do you want a violent game? Would you be interested in this kind of game?" And so what you have to respond to all those questions is, "I want to see Dave Rivas play Joey Drew in that violent game." So you gotta. What I'm saying is, you gotta tell the game devs what you want, and
Yeah.
and they'll respond. They'll respond.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's everything for today's episode. Dave, thank you for being on the podcast. Uh
My
is there
pleasure.
anything you is there anything you'd like to say to the fans of
Oh
Bendy?
my gosh. You know what? Man, it this is really hard to do without literally bursting into tears because, just thank you. Thank you to the fandom, all the Bendy fans out there. Thank you so, so much for your support, for your love of the games, of Bendy, of Joey, of all the characters, and for just your reception into this beautiful, dark, inky world. Uh, I was excited coming into this project of being the voice of Joey Drew, and I had a sneaking suspicion that it was going to be kind of really, really cool and something potentially big. But it still every single day it blows my mind how big it is. and my life has changed, because of you, because of the fandom, and it is just so great. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so very much, and I hope I can continue, being, Joey for many, many more projects, and I will be continuing to see you as the voice of Joey and Captain Vakel Shawn of the USS Enterprise F, and the voice of Frogger at the fan cons, and when I see you on streaming, uh, streams and stuff like that. So, thank you so much. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
And,
thank you.
and thank you for just being here in general. Just it's again, it's just really amazing to have you on this show. Like I personally speaking, I would never think in a million years I'd be talking to people like you, Sean, or anyone else we had on the podcast, and just it's just really great, man. And just like I know I looked up to you, and like I know many others did as well. And it's just really great to just talk to you, ask you these questions. Just it's just really great.
Ah, thank you very much. And that is just a credit to yourself. And personally, I don't know why you would be so blown away by just talking to guys like me and Sean, and I'm sure everybody else that you've had on the show are your fans, and that's really understandable. I get kind of weird when I'm in the presence of the people I'm a fan of, but that's just a credit to you. I mean, how did you pull this off? You just asked, and we said, yeah, sure. Why not? That sounds like fun. So keep doing that, and you keep going. You keep going. Of course, without Safar, because he's not gonna be back anymore after
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
But,
and yeah,
but you just keep going. I mean, look what you've accomplished. You have an amazing program and all the great people you've had on, and you're gonna have many more great programs with a lot of many, many cool people.
yeah, and thank you to Safar for being here for just starting in the horror talk. Thank you for everything, Safar.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and, Safar, thank you for your efforts and your contribution, and I wish you all the best in all your future endeavors. And hopefully we'll be doing this again in some other way, in some other form.
I would certainly love to. Yeah,
Right on.
yeah, and thank you everyone for watching and for sticking around for season 1, and hopefully we'll be back for season 2 if people want it, that is. Just kidding, we're already working on it. All right. Y'all have a great day, everyone. Bye.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us at Joey Drew Studios and Indie Horror Talk. See you next season.